Welcome back to Outside Views, and today we're talking about the final nail in the coffin for London as a global fashion capital. The loss of tax-free shopping and its devastating impact in 2025 and 2026. And my personal view is that the decision to abolish the VAT retail export scheme was a moment of pure bureaucratic madness. A tourist tax that is effectively handed your lunch to Paris and Milan on a silver platter. And we're now in January 2026, and the data is frankly embarrassing for anyone who still believes Brexit was about a competitive advantage. And while London's high-end retailers are watching their sales stagnate, cities like Paris and Milan are celebrating a historic and record-breaking year for luxury spend. According to the latest 2025 data from Global Blue, Paris has captured a staggering 16% of total global tax-free sales, with international shoppers spending an average of over €2,200 per visit. And meanwhile, in London's West End, retailers lost an estimated £310 million in sale in the first half of 2025 alone. That's a 40% increase in losses compared to last year. And it turns out that when you tell wealthy tourists from the US, the Middle East and China that they have to pay 20% more to shop in London than they do in Madrid or Rome, they actually listen to you and stay away. And the sheer scale of the spending diversion we are seeing in 2025, or we have seen, is mind-blowing. Spending by non-EU visitors in the UK has plateaued at just 75% of pre-pandemic levels, while in Spain it has soared to 166% and in France to 159%. The Gulf state shoppers, the whales of the luxury world, have seen their spending in the UK drop by 27% since 2019, while their spending in France has surged by a massive 169%. And my view is that London is being treated like a museum. People might come to see the sights, but they are doing their shopping elsewhere. I've heard stories of tourists literally flying into Heathrow, doing a quick tour of the Tower of London, and then hopping on the Eurostar to Paris, specifically to buy their Chanel bags and Cartier watches, because it saves them thousands of pounds. The British Treasury is stubbornly clinging to a projected £2 billion in tax revenue from this move, but they are ignoring the £3.7 billion boost to the wider economy that reintroducing the scheme would bring. And the irony gets even deeper when you look at what British citizens are doing. In 2025, British shoppers have become the new stars of the EU's tax-free shopping scene. Since the UK is now a third country, you can claim VAT back when you shop in the EU. And boy, people are doing it. British travellers spent an estimated £742 million on tax-free goods in the EU last year, with that figure expected to rise even further. And so not only is the UK losing out on wealthy international tourists, but it is also losing its own domestic spending to the boutiques of Paris and Milan. The Association of International Retailers pointed out that France has become the top destination for this, with 75% of that British spending going directly into the pockets of Parisian retailers. So it's a double whammy. The British have made themselves more expensive for foreigners and made it more attractive for their own people to spend their money abroad. And to make matters even worse, the 2025 autumn budget has introduced a new tourist levy on overnight stays in London. While other European cities have similar taxes, they use them to offset the fact that they already offer tax-free shopping. In London, it's just another layer of cost, another reason for a budget-conscious traveller to choose a different city. 81% of businesses in the West End say they are seeing fewer international visitors, and nearly all of them, with 96%, believe that potential spending is being diverted to the continental rivals. And my outside view is that London is losing its magnetic status. You can't be a global fashion hub if you treat your customers like a captive revenue stream instead of guests. The tourist tax is a self-inflicted wound that is hollowing out Bond Street and Regent Street, turning what should be the world's greatest shopping district into a quiet shadow of its former self. And the 2026 outlook is even bleaker unless there is a radical policy reversal. The Office for Budget Responsibility has revised its productivity forecast down again, and the government is desperate for cash, which means they are unlikely to give up on the VAT revenue anytime soon. But as investments in the UK retail sector drops, with 50% of businesses now rethinking their UK investments, the long-term cost will be far higher than £2 billion. And we are witnessing the slow-motion provincialisation of London as it loses its edge for more pragmatic, business-friendly neighbours. And the Brexit dividend for the fashion industry has been a 20% surcharge on every luxury item and a closed sign for the world's biggest spenders. It's not just a tax, it's a statement that Britain is no longer interested in being at the center of the global luxury world.